bOX. Some people like to go to class reunions to catch up with old friends, reminisce about good old days, or to show off where they've gone in life. Personally, I don't have any time for that. I stay in touch with people from elementary and high school that I want to be in touch with. Call me cold. I don't really care because I just don't have time for that high school drama. Because after all, we have Facebook for that. Welcome to another episode of the Popcorn Confessional during our 31 days of Halloween. And this is Dave from nERD, and I'm accompanied by my wife Jenn, also from nERD. And on this episode, we are talking about Bloody Reunion. So fire up that Jiffy Pop and meet us in the booth.
Teacher, Ms. Park, has fallen ill, and in her dying days, her caretaker and ex-student, Mi Ja, plans a get-together with several of Ms. Park's students. As each student shares their story about how Ms. Park impacted their lives growing up, it turns out that Ms. Park wasn't all that nice. The happy reunion becomes tense, and one by one, each of Ms. Park's former students begin getting murdered.
Once had a teacher like this?
I had a really rotten bitch of a teacher once.
My friend and I were just talking about this last month,
Mm-hmm.
having a teacher like that. And one of it is because she was younger, and she would throw tantrums in class and all this other stuff. Yeah.
Okay, then.
So this is an Asian horror film. It is an Asian slasher film.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very unique. I forget how I came across it, but I really enjoyed this film for a lot of different reasons. One, because there are a lot of twists and turns in the storytelling in this movie. And the slasher, who's picking everybody off, has this badass bunny mask that just kind of stands out. Now, you wouldn't know this is a slasher film from looking at the cover art from it because it is of a woman in a wheelchair with her head slung backwards in it. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with slasher film and all the unique ways of people getting killed in this one.
Yeah, they definitely had an interesting way of doing all the different killings in the movie. There wasn't anything that was like another. And then there were a couple of parts where you thought someone was going to bite it and then they didn't. They're like, no, we're just going to tease you and then we'll kill them later. So, yeah. And there was a few different storylines that were going on, like not just with students that were there, but then students that weren't there. And Ms. Park's own child had like a storyline in the movie too. So there was a lot going on, which I found that pretty interesting.
Yeah, and for it being subtitled and all those twists and turns, how did you keep up with it?
Well, I mean, I can read, so.
In the last couple of reviews when we were talking about subtitle films, you talked about sometimes them moving too fast.
Yeah, this one, they kept a good pace as far as the words across the screen because I don't like when it goes too fast. I can read fast, but I don't want to when I'm watching a movie. That I find annoying.
Yeah, the movie revolves around 6 students visiting the teacher who is ill. So you have their backstories that are blended into the movie very well. So it's not like, oh my God, I'm confused.
Yeah.
Because I don't know who's who anymore and what they're talking about. But it's done very well. And then as, the tension slowly starts to build, you get to find out that this teacher was an asshole.
Yeah,
to the students.
She was terrible, and it all kind of played into the fact that she had a child that
was deformed, and she kept them locked in the basement.
Yeah, so it all came from that. I mean, I don't know why that made her so angry that she wanted to take it out on her students, but that's essentially what she did, and she was terrible. I mean, she literally did things I hope I never see a teacher do. I mean, I did have a terrible teacher who wouldn't let me go to the bathroom and I peed my pants. So there's that. you know. And then I had another teacher who grabbed my arm and dug her fingernails into it. So, yeah, teachers can do some pretty horrible things. And this woman takes the cake.
Yes. And she's delusional because she thinks everybody loves her
Yes.
in the film.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as it all unravels, the killer starts to come out and take people out one by one.
Yeah. And, she thinks that, like he said, that she's beloved by these students, and she really thinks that she was doing like the best job, that she was just had their best interests at heart, and she was trying to teach them. And I'm like, okay, bitch, you're delusional.
Yeah.
Because that is not how you teach a child.
Yeah, so there's drama elements to it, there's slasher elements to it. It is gory for the kill scenes.
It is. Yeah, there's a lot of blood, and the way that some of these people die is definitely gory.
Oh yeah. Gotta see what they do with a stapler.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
So while it is subtitled, it is not one of the ones that you're going to lose track of while you're watching the film. It is a slower paced subtitle in it. When I got into subtitle movies, that's what I was looking for, right? I had to find something that was slow enough for me to read because I am a slow reader. And then after a couple films, you get used to it and you don't really even notice it anymore. And especially when it's a good story like this one. So it is definitely worth watching and checking this one out.
Yeah. I agree. If the storyline is really good, the subtitles, if you're not a subtitle person, as we know I'm not, don't really like subtitles. But if the movie is good enough and the subtitles are, spaced enough so that you can read it all the way through, you almost forget that they are subtitles. You almost just feel like you understand them speaking.
Yeah. If you watch enough Asian movies, you start to learn the language.
I know some words because we watch a lot of Asian films. So I do know some words. As soon as they'll say it, I'm like, oh, I kind of recognize it. So
now the ending.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Badass ending.
Yeah.
Probably one of the, if not the best ending of all the movies that we chose for this one.
Yeah, but I think that it was completely appropriate and justified. So, yeah, but I wasn't expecting it. I don't think that most people would expect the killer to be who the killer was.
Yep, I agree. And I wouldn't mind seeing an American remake of this because I think they could pull it off.
Yeah, I think so too.
I just want to see this slasher bunny come back.
Yeah.
He or she was just awesome.
And it was like one of those it was like a paper mache mask, I think is what, so it was like, I don't know if you've ever done paper mache in school. I know some schools are weird and don't do stuff, but yeah, so it was like a paper mache bunny mask. And so that just made it all the more creepy because, that paper mache shit, that always comes out creepy looking. So.
Yeah, so with that, do you watch any foreign horror films? If so, what countries? Is it Asian horror? Is it Italian horror? French horror? Spain's got some really good ones too out there too.
Yeah.
So which horror films are you watching that may be overseas? Or are you watching slasher movies that aren't just Freddy, Michael, and Jason? What other ones are you watching? You watching Chrome Skull? You watching Art the Clown? Are you taking the advice of some of the reviews that we give and you watching The Final Girls? Let us know by putting that in the comments. And also, since we're not rating these films, drop your rating in it. Is it an A, B, C, D, E, or F? Just drop those in the comments.
There's no E.
I'm making up the letter grade. It's an E.
Okay.
E for somewhat excellent.
Or E for effort.
Oh yeah, that too. Okay. So just drop those in the comments and let us know what you think of this film.
And once you do that, remember to like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and share.
Yes, please share. And we're wrapping up the month of October, but there's a lot of good content that if you haven't seen it, go back and check. There's a lot of good movies that you don't just have to watch in the month of October. So enjoy. And until tomorrow, see ya.